June 6, 1944. The fate of the free world hung in the balance. For 4 years, Nazi Germany had occupied France and most of Europe. Hitler's forces seemed unbeatable, fortified behind the Atlantic Wall, a 2,400-mile chain of bunkers, artillery, and machine gun nests along the French coast. The Führer boasted it was impregnable, but across the English Channel, the largest invasion force in human history was preparing to prove him wrong. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander, carried a handwritten note in his pocket, a message he would send if the invasion failed, taking full responsibility. The pressure was immense. If D-Day failed, the war could be lost. Over 156,000 American, British, and Canadian troops prepared to storm 5 beaches in Normandy. The night before, Eisenhower visited paratroopers preparing to jump into darkness. He chatted with nervous young men barely out of high school. "Good luck," he told them quietly, "and God be with you." Before dawn, thousands of paratroopers dropped behind enemy lines, disrupting German communications despite being scattered across flooded fields. At 6:30 a.m., the naval bombardment began, thousands of ships unleashing the largest amphibious assault ever attempted. Then the landing craft hit the beaches. At Utah Beach, American forces pushed inland with relatively light casualties. But at Omaha Beach, it was hell on earth. The first wave of American soldiers lowered their landing craft ramps and stepped into a massacre. German machine guns hidden in cliff-top bunkers opened fire immediately. Men fell before they reached the sand, some drowning under heavy packs, others cut down by interlocking fields of fire. 20-year-old soldiers waded through chest-deep water turned red with blood, dodging artillery shells that sent sand and shrapnel exploding everywhere. Landing craft burned, tanks sank, officers were killed within seconds. For 2 hours, American troops were pinned at the seawall, taking devastating casualties. Commanders offshore considered abandoning Omaha. The situation seemed hopeless. But then, something shifted. Small groups of soldiers, led by sergeants whose officers had been killed, began moving. Colonel Charles Canham, wounded twice, rallied his men. "They're murdering us here. Let's move inland and get murdered." His dark humor broke the paralysis. A young captain stood up under fire. "Two kinds of people are staying on this beach, the dead and those who are going to die. Now let's get the hell out of here." Soldiers found gaps in German defenses. Engineers blew holes through barbed wire. Men scaled 100-foot cliffs under withering fire using grappling hooks and sheer determination. At the top, American Rangers overran German positions in savage combat. By day's end, against all odds, they'd broken through. The Atlantic Wall had been breached. The cost was staggering, over 4,400 Allied casualties. But they had done the impossible. Over the following weeks, millions more Allied troops poured through Normandy, pushing inland through brutal combat. American soldiers shared rations with starving French children and gave chocolate to kids who'd lived under Nazi occupation for years. On August 25, 1944, Paris was liberated. French citizens lined the streets cheering as Allied tanks rolled past. "Merci, thank you for our freedom." By May 1945, Nazi Germany surrendered unconditionally. Hitler was dead, Europe liberated. The heroes of D-Day, boys who'd become men on blood-soaked beaches, came home to a grateful nation. Many never spoke of what they'd seen, carrying scars from that terrible, glorious day. Today, American cemeteries in Normandy stand as testaments to their courage. 9,287 white crosses overlooking the beaches where they fell. Every year, the French place flowers on American graves and teach their children. They came from across the ocean to set us free. D-Day wasn't just a military victory. It was proof that when tyranny threatens the world, free people will rise. That courage can overcome any obstacle, and that sometimes a generation must sacrifice everything so the next can live in freedom. America and her allies won not just a battle that day, but saved the soul of civilization itself.